Oh, what is going on, guys? This is Danny from Fearless Lifestyles, and let's talk about getting naked. Now, I recently got back from a festival called Festival Pashut. For those who don't know what that is, it basically is called the Simple Festival, and it's in Israel. And basically, for 4 days, everyone there is naked. There's an equal amount of guys and girls. There's approximately like 400 people there, and everyone is naked. And the whole point, and of course, like throughout this festival, there's lots of parties. There's lots of like seminars. There's lots of meditations. There's lots of like yoga and stuff like that. And it's a really cool thing. And the whole point is they want to try to recreate the Garden of Eden on Earth. And now here's the thing. I'm not saying that we all need to get naked and we should all just like shed our clothes, but here's definitely a few really cool insights that I gained from going to this festival. And I highly recommend if you're someone who you want to enter the unknown, you want to leave your comfort zone, you want to open yourself up to new experiences, you want to broaden your horizons, you want to grow as a human being, I highly, highly recommend. Oh wait, there's a siren. Oh, God damn it. Anyways, I highly, highly, highly recommend checking something like this out for yourself. Here's the main thing that I noticed. I noticed a few things. Number one is that a lot of the times our ego, that thing that we have that's sort of like, it's an identity that we adopt for ourselves, and our ego always wants more and more and more. So and our ego loves a challenge. That's also why it's like dating advice, which I think is totally wrong, of course. It says, if you wanna get the girl or get the guy, be a challenge, be hard to get. Because then, of course, the ego wants what it can't have. And if you come off as like a challenge, then the person is going to want to try to get you or try to get that or try to get that challenge or whatever, or conquer that mountain. So same thing with clothes, by the way. When we see someone clothed, our ego wants to see what's underneath. Which at the same time, of course, we've been conditioned to be attracted to certain types of clothing. We've been conditioned to be attracted to certain to certain types of angles that we see when girls or guys are like bent over, posing, or whatever it is. And when everyone's naked, when those clothes are stripped away, you're not trying to see what's underneath because there's nothing to discover. You already see what's underneath. You already see them naked, and not only that, you see them naked in all sorts of like weird angles. Meaning like. I'm not seeing a girl just like bent over sexy. I'm seeing her like scratching her armpits. I'm seeing her like, you're basically seeing everyone basically doing everything, and everything is completely exposed no matter what. And what this does is it makes physical attraction much less important, which is really cool. Meaning that instead of being physically attracted to the body, which of course physical attraction is there, of course there's certain body types that you'll be attracted to, certain body types that you won't be attracted to. However, what's much larger at play here, once everyone's already naked, is the vibe and the energy of the person. Meaning that, and this is crazy, but there were girls who, like, I guess normally I wouldn't necessarily be that attracted to, but once again, when everyone was naked and just there were no clothes whatsoever, I was able to identify and connect much more with their vibe, much more with their energy, and that to me was just much more attractive than how they looked, meaning their overall vibe, their overall energy. What were they putting out there? Like what could I feel from them? Because I already knew what they looked like. I already knew what everyone looked like underneath it. It just didn't matter. There was no curiosity, and there was no like sort of ego challenge of let's get her out of her clothes. What's underneath those clothes? So that's the first thing I recognized. The other thing that I recognized is actually, in some way, at the same time, not having clothes also made people further apart. Now, what do I mean by that? I've been to like other festivals and things like that in the past, and in festivals, people are very loving, they're very open, and like you can just go up to random people, just start hugging them and talking to them, and it's really, really nice. However, here, because people felt so exposed, because they're used to having clothes, and now they don't have that layer of protection, so people kept more of a distance, which, by the way, I totally understand, because let's say if you're hugging someone normally, you have that layer of clothes protecting you, but now, basically, if I, let's say, I hug a girl and it's like a close hug, she can feel my dick, like, directly on her, so I can definitely understand why that would be intimidating, but I'm going to basically use a metaphor here that'll maybe drive the point home. If you're on top of, like, a really tall building, you're on top of, like, a helipad of a really tall building, and there's no fence around it, most people will not go to the edge because they're too scared of falling off. However, if there's a fence around the edge of the helipad, if there's that layer of protection, people will go all the way to the edge and like look down because there's that layer of protection to stop them from falling. So ironically, when there's actually limits, sometimes people can act more freely. And I just note, of course, actually, as the festival dragged on, people acted more and more freely, but at least in the beginning, people were really scared to, like, let's say, open up. People were, when it came to like a hug, like I'm big into hugging. I love to hug. I like to feel the energies back and forth. I love to give some of my energy. And in other festivals, like you hug, it's like a real hug. It's from the heart. You're breathing in, you're breathing out. Like your bodies are connected to each other. But in this case, so myself included, by the way, because sometimes I was afraid I would just like get a random boner, which we'll talk about that in a second. And I remember I was like hugging, and it was a little bit like an outside hug. It was a little bit of like a scared hug, and that distance was there because there was too much freedom, if that makes sense. So basically, which also kind of proves the point of democracy, that you know, there needs to be like a certain laws in place or minimal laws in place in order for people to thrive. Which ironically enough, having less freedom gives you more freedom, which is a really cool lesson to learn. What else did I learn? Oh yeah, when it comes to the boner. So one of the things that I was scared most about is I was like, fuck, what happens if like I'm just this guy, the one guy walking around with a boner, you know, and everyone else is like looking at me, staring at me. You know, what if people laugh at me? I don't know. What if I'll have a small penis? So first of all, the moment everyone got naked, I don't know, like, I didn't just get a random boner. I didn't just get random boners for no reason. It was pretty cool because I saw a bunch of other guys' penises, and I saw that I definitely do not fall short in that department. So that actually made me really, made my ego really happy. And another thing is I definitely did get boners sometimes. Of course, because there were very sexual situations, obviously, because we're naked all the fucking time. And of course, sexual situations are bound to happen. And by the way, they're bound to happen super fucking fast because once again, the ego for the most part is stripped away, and you're just vibing off of each other's energies, and you're really in touch with your emotions, and it's really fucking cool. So sexual situations happen very fast. And I remember that we were doing this this exercise where we had like body paint, and they said, okay, now remember a time in your life when you felt anger and it's hard for you to let it go. Take the color of that anger and draw it on somebody else. And we were basically just like, everyone was just like drawing paint on each other, and they were saying, take anger, take pleasure. And we were just like all just like painting each other with our fingers and stuff. Just aside from the fact that it's like a really fun massage for the body, and aside from the fact that it's like, it just feels really good. Of course, sexual situations are bound to happen, especially when a girl decided she would paint my penis. And of course, in this situation, you know, I got a boner in, let's say, 2 seconds. My dick was standing way up in the air. And I was the only one there. And people, but the thing is that not only did people not only did people not feel threatened, they're like, oh, good for you. Oh, and they're like laughing, and they're like, oh, someone's excited. And basically, so my whole fear of just getting like a random boner when no one else got one just went away. And of course, I talked to other guys there, and they all had the exact same fear. And it's really cool because it really teaches you sort of just like to own your sexuality, to own what you're feeling, own whatever happens to you. It's okay, it's fine. And yeah, I mean, I learned a lot of other stuff when I was there, but for the most part, clothes really, like, it's an extra layer of ego. You know, that's why, you know, and that's why, for example, a lot of spiritual leaders or even a lot of entrepreneurs, they wear the exact same thing day in and day out. Because the truth is that when we have clothes on, so immediately, like, we're seeing someone, and it always says to us about the person, like, who they are, whether it's their sense of style, whether it's like a hot girl who I want to see what's underneath those clothes, or I can also dress in a certain way that girls are probably wondering what's underneath there or not. It doesn't really matter. But the point is that when the clothes are stripped away, and you're really just left with the energy of the person, and when everyone's clothes are stripped away, the whole curiosity to see what's underneath just vanishes. And it's really cool because I was really able to vibe with a lot of people that I may not necessarily have been able to vibe with. And once again, guys, I'm not a nudist. I like to be naked a lot. I like to be naked as much as I can, but I'm definitely not a nudist. As you can see, I'm clearly wearing clothes. But I would recommend, if you want to enter the unknown, if you want to get used to entering the unknown, going out of your comfort zone, feeling what it's like when all the clothes are stripped away, because I promise you, it's a really cool thing. It's a really cool thing. I would definitely try it because you'll grow a lot as a person. And if you're scared and if you're like, no, this is not for me, well, those types of people usually don't grow very much. And I really challenge you just to say yes to this experience. I know that there's festivals like this going on throughout the world. If you want more information about it, you're free to contact me. If you want any information regarding anything, you can contact me. I love giving advice, even if I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And I'll see you guys around. Mwah.